Well, I hate to take it to a sadder part of the show, but we did lose a great musician this week. No. Yes, we lost the ever great, the ever well-renowned Dr. John, who is well known out of New Orleans for making just beautiful music. A lot of it, not a lot of it, but some of it has appeared in, Princess and the Frog.
I knew it.
He covered.
That's where I remember him from.
Right. It's a very New Orleans kind of guy, and born and bred and won't leave. He just straight to his roots, and you can tell because I have some stuff prepped from Dr. John that you guys are gonna love. I'm so excited. Yeah. So this first one is not a Dr. John song, but it's "I'll Fly Away," and great song. And this is New Orleans' second line band, or a second line in a parade. We'll get into what a second line is if you don't know what it is later. But
thank you, Professor Indy.
Yeah, well, we're just gonna look at Wikipedia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. But this is all love for Dr. John in New Orleans this week. This was today.
Oh, look at the little one. Look at the little guy.
Oh, yeah.
Just take pictures of him.
Beautiful. And for those of you listening, this is probably thousands, I would say thousands of people in the streets of New Orleans. All together, brass playing. There's an accordion there. Or, no, like a
lots of saxes.
Washboard guy. Percussionist, every type of thing. And they're all paying tribute to Dr. John. He was
That's amazing.
I think he's the biggest celebrity that made NOLA, gumbo music.
Yeah.
Popular.
It's really great.
It's just beautiful that you see Nazis taking over LGBT rallies and stuff, but then you see this kind of stuff, and it makes you go like, wow, there is good in the world. At least you're not seeing just complete assholes all the time. You know?
It's so true. It's amazing.
And yeah, it's a great time, and I think this goes to show what you can do with music. You can bring so many people together in tribute and all different types of people.
Yeah, a very diverse group of people.
And it's just great to see.
Yeah.
It's literally almost making me tear up because like my dad loves Dr. John, and he turned me on to
your dad?
Got me in the right place, giving out the wrong dime. Like there's a really hit song by him that my dad loves. And he's from the 70s, late 60s, 70s. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's been doing music since the 50s. Old guy. He died at 77 this week. But
it's kind of young for nowadays, though.
Yeah. Interesting story on that guy though. Like he started out playing guitar. I think it's shot in the hand, and then couldn't play guitar anymore because he lost feeling in his finger, and then just went to piano. And then is fucking known as Dr. John.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And supposedly he came up with the character, very Jack-esque. I guess Jack is very Dr. John-esque. But coming up with the character while he wasn't even the front man of this band. He created this character, Dr. John, a very voodoo, New Orleans, very almost like a Jack Sparrow. Mm-hmm. He's Jack either way,
right.
And supposedly the band members thought, he wasn't even the lead. And they're like, no, you go up and sing because you're better looking and weird and more interesting than any of us.
Right.
And that kind of, spurred his career into being Dr. John.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's really cool. Now, second line, one of the things I want to pull up here, I didn't know what a second line was. Now, I always, I refer to myself as a blue collar musician.
Right.
Even though I'm not really that blue collar. I just call myself a blue collar musician because I don't know how to read notes. right? I'm like a fake book musician.
You play by ear.
I play by ear, and I can I can see the chord on the string, and I'll play the chord. You got F, you got G, you got C, you got fucking D minor. I can do it all. You know what I mean? But like, you throw notes in my face.
You're not a classically trained guitar player.
Right. I'm a classic rock trained guitar player.
Exactly.
Huge difference. Yeah. But second line. A second line is a tradition of brass band parades in New Orleans, Louisiana. The main line, the first line, is the main section of the parade, or the members of the actual club with a parading permit, as well as the brass band. Now, those who follow the band just to enjoy the music are called the second line. The second line style of tradition dance, in which participants walk sometimes with a twirl a parasol or a handkerchief in the air.
Yeah, that was the umbrellas in the video.
Right, the umbrellas, yeah. Called the second lining, and it's been called the quintessential New Orleans art form, a jazz funeral without a body. So it's like, it's just, it's showing love. Yeah. It's showing love for something that has come to pass, and well deserved for Mr. Dr. John. Now I have more on Dr. John. So there's these CBS posted this week, a little expose on his death.
Happened this past week, the passing of musician Malcolm John Rebenack Jr., better known by far as Dr. John. A true son of New Orleans, Dr. John mixed blues, jazz, rock, and faux voodoo in a musical gumbo all his own.
Musical gumbo.
Musical gumbo, yeah.
Known as the Night Tripper.
He crafted his Dr. John alter ego in the late 1960s.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time.
Yeah, I can see your dad liking
Had
this.
a Billboard hit, Right Place, Wrong Time, in 1973. Speaking of the wrong time, here's Dr. John talking to Russ Mitchell for Sunday Morning back in 2006.
I parade good at nights. Days, a little shaky.
It's about 2 in the afternoon. You doing okay? This prime time sleeping?
This is not my best time.
All the same, somehow, Dr. John found the time to win 6 Grammy Awards.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Plus a place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dr. John was 77.
Just a great soul,
Unique.
Like you don't get that prolific without being literally being a powerhouse musician and just being you,
Right.
And there's some extra things, and there's another CBS expose that I found. Let me cut to 225 here.
Such a night.
See,
He's worked as a performer, composer, and producer.
Sweet confusion under the moonlight.
With musicians spanning the generations, from B.B. King to the Rolling Stones.
Sometimes the smart thing is to go see the doctor.
To Christina Aguilera.
I'm all lit up like a Christmas tree.
A musician's musician. A director.
you can hear that Princess and the Frog, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To rhythm and blues.
He's just the man, And there's another part here. 451? I wrote down. Let's see.
But though he was surrounded by musicians, he didn't have to leave the family to find his first music teacher.
Who taught you, for the most part?
My Aunt Andre taught me when I was a little kid. She taught me how to do this. I was a little bitty kid, and then later she taught me how to add.
Don't you love those little stepping stones?
Even in her later years,
There she is.
Aunt Andre could play a mean boogie-woogie piano.
She's so cute.
So
It's the way it
cute.
works in New Orleans, one generation handing down music to the next. Cosimo Matasso, owner of a legendary New Orleans recording studio, started using Mac on records when he was just 14, despite another case of right place, wrong time.
He was a guitar player then, right?
Yeah, well, he had a little problem along the way. It shifted to piano.
What was the problem?
He got shot in the hand.
That'll do it.
Yes.
Put him straight razor through his throat.
He's just a class act,
Make no mistake, the doctor is not a saint.
Let me go to, let's say 629 here for another little portion. He did the Popeyes theme song.
He's tried his hand at jingles.
Oh, I wrote Popeye.
You wrote the Popeyes?
I do Popeye.
Chicken from Popeye.
You dig the way it's fried. That New Orleans spice.
But even those never quite paid off like he hoped.
Oh my God.
Love that chicken from
Papa. Hell yeah.
For a local
They
company.
they played that when we were a kid. I
Yeah.
remember it.
They were going to be some humongous company all over the planet.
Right.
And he knew. That's how it goes.
I love his. Well, that's how we go.
Yeah.
And it might have not been super easy to get there, but essentially, Popeyes wasn't a big company when they hired him to do that, and then didn't pay him when they became huge. And that's what he meant. Well, that's what happened. But he didn't need that. He didn't need that.
No.
And that's another thing to know. It's like, it doesn't matter. Just make good shit, move on, and keep making it. Like if you're gonna stand the test of time, you will. And a Popeyes commercial ain't gonna make or break you.
No, hell no. It's a drop in the bucket.
Right. There's one more little part here. 914.
The man who's brought more New Orleans music to more people in the world than anybody that's ever come along.
Damn straight.
Y'all know him, Dr. John.
Dr. John brought thousands to their feet, New Orleans style. And when the spirit moved him, he even put on a few moves. It seemed that
man.
Dr. John was, for this moment at least, in the right place at the right time.
I know. It's
so touching.
It's great. Because among a lot of the huge musicians out there, he doesn't get anywhere the near the attention. And it's probably a guy that if you don't look for him, and if you don't go, whoa, wow, who did that song? You won't find him. It's those kind of people, the people who fly under the radar, who are kind of the most prolific and interesting, and
Absolutely.
and you kind of feel their loss when they're gone.
Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to pop up here, Dr. John. He got asked by Time Magazine. This is 10 questions for Dr. John in Time Magazine. Let's cut to some of it because he's just a fucking class act, this guy.
A reader named Dennis Murrell, who's writing from China, wants to know, how would you describe your own music?
Well, I like to think of what Louis Armstrong and also Duke Ellington said about music. There's only two kinds of music, good and bad.
That's right.
I would like to think of my music as being good.
Aww.
My late songwriting partner and myself, Bobby Charles, who just passed away, have consistently were writing songs about truths nobody wants to hear about. It's the most important thing to me.
How have the spirits and the ancestors...
That's great. There's another one at 144 that was really cool. Here we go.
We've talked a couple times about spirits and spirituality,
great.
and you've got your walking stick and what you're wearing around your neck. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about what that is and why it's important to you?
I believe very strongly that the only thing wrong with any religion is man. There's nothing wrong with any religion but man. And I believe very strongly that there's one spirit that guides us all. We call it the Great Spirit. You can call it Jehovah. You can call him a myriad of names, Allah. The name doesn't matter. It's still one spirit up there. But there's a myriad of other spirits around that spirit. Every religion has a way of breaking something down in another way. And I'm not against any of them.
Isn't that just so profound? Like, I've kind of... It's like when people say something so profound that you've never really even thought of before. It's like, Wait, yeah.
I actually thought about that a lot in college.
Really?
I took a lot of religion courses. I studied Buddhism. I studied ancient Mayan and Inca religions.
Yeah, I think it because I wasn't really into history, so I didn't really take much of that stuff. But like, I've had the thought every once in a, because you always have the thought, or like, okay, if Jewish people exist and Christians exist and Muslims exist, and then I grew up Christian, right? Like, and a Protestant, and then you go, wait, there are other religions and they think they're right. You know what I mean? Like, you have those critical thoughts, and you go like, well, there's got to be an explanation for all this.
I grew up very differently because like my mom's kind of Catholic, but also like Native American beliefs, and then my dad was atheist. So I grew up with like 3 different perspectives on religion in one home. So I think for me, like, I always grew up knowing that there was so many things out there.
Right.
Like, that was very apparent to me.
Well, yeah. And it's kind of along the lines of what I was saying too. It's like when you actually get to the point where you can understand for yourself that there are other people believing as true as what you were taught to their religion. And it really kind of comes to like question yourself where you're like, well, I was just told that this is what's right. Is this what's right? You know what I mean? And it's interesting. Maybe not a conversation for the Conscious Club podcast, but good note.
Yeah,
good note. Like that's a really good sentiment. I think. You know, like we all under one love. You know,
absolutely.
One heart. Let's get together and feel all right. You know. All right, one more little thing on Mr. Dr. John here. Yeah, he is adorable.
Turtle.
Let's see, 523. Here we go.
Last question. Jay Combe in New Orleans wants to know, is there any city in the world other than New Orleans that you could envision yourself living in and enjoying?
Actually, no. I love New Orleans. I love my roots. I love my culture and my heritage. I've tried living in other places, but that's where my heart is still.
Dr. John, thank you very much. This has been 10 Questions for Time.
Really an interesting guy. Huh?
Really interesting guy. Well, rest in peace, Mr. Dr. John. We're gonna, I never got to see you live, but my dad told me about you, and I loved what I heard. And I remember when we were living in Koreatown. You can go back to TCCP episode 1 and 2 and 3, I think, to see that piece of crap place. But we were walking to McDonald's, and I think we were both, engaging in that cute moment where we both wear one pair of AirPods.
Oh yeah. We did that a lot in Koreatown.
And then Dr. John came on the playlist, and I was like, "Oh, it's Dr. John. Must have been the right place. Must have been the wrong time."
Yeah.
I was like, "My dad told me about this guy."
Aw.
Yeah. Little memories like that. Yeah. And then when your dad goes like, "You never heard of Dr. John? Oh my God!" Like, I'm like, "No." And then you just get into this whole style. Yeah. But rest in peace. We'll love you forever and ever.
Yeah.
Mr. Dr. John.
Wasn't that a great clip? Well, if you want to keep watching them, you can subscribe here to our Clips channel, or go up here and subscribe to our podcast channel, or you can go over here and keep watching those clips.